everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is the third and final part of our colour along in Mouse Guide, so I hope you're not fed up of us yet. Please do watch to the end because the finishing touches to a colouring page are always my most favourite bits. They're the bits where we put all the little accents in, all the little details, be it with metallic watercolours or gel pens or washi tapes. I am going to use some washi tape today. I think I've spotted a really nice one what I think will complement this page. So here was the page. So we sort of use the Derwent Inktense pencils to sort of create a base for everything. I really like doing that. It's really vibrant. I don't think I need to put much shading into the snail. I possibly might put a little bit at the bottom of this green, apple green section here, but I'm quite happy with the blend here, how this blended so beautifully. So I'm going to leave the snail alone mainly. The things I want to get the most shading in to smooth over things, should we say, are the leaves, which were a little bit patchy, the flowers and the mouse. But I really like how these rocks look at the bottom as well, so I don't think I'll really touch them much. If I do it, it'll probably just be a little tiny bit of deepening up at the bottom. But let's just get started and let's see. So I have picked some pencils out. I'll call out these pencil names just so you've got them in front of you. You can get them out your case if you have been following along. So it is Middle Purple Pink, and I've got Manganese Violet. So these two are going to be used on the leaves because I think they're similar types of shades. And then I've pulled out a Middle Phthalo Blue, a Helio Blue Reddish and a Phthalo Blue. I'm going to take a look at these and see which will be the best match to smooth over our little mouse guy. So I think on the actual flower heads, I think I'm going to use this very deep Helio Reddish Blue just on there, and I think I'm going to leave the green bits as they are. So I'm just going to smooth over the top bits with that really deepest blue. But first I'm going to go in with the leaves. So I'm going to get these two colours out first. So you want to grab your Manganese Violet 160 and your Middle Purple Pink 125. And we'll just try and bring it in as far as I can without it getting in too far. And we'll have a little colouring chat at the same time. I'll start down here actually, and then we can move the book down. So starting off with a purple. So it's a very similar shade. So what we're doing here, we're just trying to get it a bit smoother. Trying to get the blend a bit smoother. You know, it's really hard to get a smooth blend with any sort of mediums that you have to add water with. I find it particularly hard to get Neocolor 2's smooth. But yeah, shouldn't take us too long to do this bit, she says. Did anybody do anything nice for Valentine's Day? Do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Me and my partner don't. It's not something we've ever got involved in. Really. Let's bring you in a bit more. Yeah, it's not something we've ever got involved in, really. It's not really our cup of tea to be overly, you know, lovey-dovey on one particular day. We're nice to each other all year round. We're nice to each other all year round, but I will say we didn't, you know, set the table with candles or anything like that, but I did make us steak and chips for tea, if you want to call that romantic. Although we ate it in different rooms, so there you go. He was playing, he's been playing a new game on the PC, Hogwarts, I think it's called. Hogwarts, and I was watching... I was watching this little programs I like to watch. There's something called, it's like a soap or a drama in the UK. It's called Waterloo Road. So I was watching a bit of that, and then a program came on after it called Ambulance. Basically, it's a documentary following the ambulance service round and listening to them taking the calls and you know, going round to the houses. I really love those programs. I normally watch them with my daughter because she's really, you know, all for becoming a paramedic when she leaves school. So I normally watch them programs with her. She's a tiny bit squeamish, not overly, but she can be a little bit squeamish. So I'd been watching those types of programs with her to sort of desensitize her to some of the stuff. And let me get my eraser. I've just gone over. Can you see? Yeah, to try and desensitize her to some of the stuff, and it's been working on me as well a little bit. because I've been trying to, you know, put on a brave face when we've been watching it together, because I don't want to sit watching it and go, ooh, or start being squeamish, because then she'll copy that behaviour from me, won't she? So I've just been sat there trying to keep my eyes on all these dodgy broken legs and things. Oh dear. But yeah, I really like programs like that, and all the police programs as well, because they're similar, where it follows the police round, and yeah, a bit strange like that. I can feel The Last of Us, the series I've been watching, The Last of Us, I can feel that coming to an end, though. I don't know how many episodes there are of it, but you know, when you can just feel a series coming to a head, I think it's nearly getting there. But I've been really enjoying that, really enjoying it. And my daughter has been watching that with us as well. She's 14, so, you know, it's alright for her to watch. I think they sort of say 14, 15, 16. I think any younger than 14, I don't think they really recommend it. Same with the video game, apparently, but I've never played the video game, so I won't be able to tell you. I don't play video games. I used to when I was younger, all the racing ones, the racing car games, but I just grew out of them. I grew out of them and started colouring instead. This is really making that fuchsia colour that we used in the Derwent Inktense. This pencil is really bringing it out even more. It's really making it really pretty, actually. I'm still in frame here. So yeah, I really enjoy putting washi tapes into my pages sometimes. You know, just like borders mainly like a border around the outside. So I've got to do that with this page, but obviously I've got to take the border. So instead of having it on this line, because of the things coming over, I'm just going to put it round. So I'm going to start it here and just put it there. Put the washi tape round starting there. You could cut it off, I suppose, but I don't want it to be a broken line sort of thing. I want it to flow around. That's just my own personal preference. It's like a really lovely bluey teal colour, which looks similar to the colours I've used on the snail here, this colour. So I think it'll look really nice. I've got the washi tapes I picked up when I went in the Works, a local store near where we live, and it was like a pack of, forgot how many are in it. Oh, it's here actually. It was this pack. So how many do we get? 24 pack. Some really nice ones. But the one I've chose to put on is this one. See how it's similar colour to that. I'm very zoomed in, aren't I? Very zoomed in. There we go. I think as well I'm gonna, with my white gel pen, where the slug is, I think I'm gonna do like a line under here with a white gel pen, so it looks like a slime. Looks like a slime trail. So if you want to do that as well, get your best white gel pens out, Posca pens, paint pens, whatever you use. Like I say, pages always go through an ugly stage, and even when I'm filming them, if I'm just filming a part 1 and part 2 and it's not done yet, I always think, oh, I bet they think this is really rubbish. They're not going to tune in for the rest of it because they think this is looking really rubbish, and then it's only the third parts are brilliant because it just brings all the page together. That's why I said they're my favourite. They're my favourite parts. It brings everything together and finishes off the page. Oh, Valentine's Day. I say me and my partner don't do Valentine's Day, but my daughters are so cute. Like, one of my daughters, I might have mentioned before, she's at high school, but she's in a special needs high school, So, because she has autism. So, she so-called has a boyfriend called Charlie, right? She always says, whenever she mentions this boy, she always says, my boyfriend Charlie. And it's been the same person since primary school, because they both went from the same primary school to the same high school. And she's always, you know, Charlie's my boyfriend, Charlie's my boyfriend. Anyway, she came home from school the other day and she was like, Mum, I want to get William a Dairy Milk bar. A Dairy Milk bar. And a Lightning McQueen card for Valentine's Day. I said, all right, okay. I said, well, when Daddy gets home from work, I said, me and you can go to the shop if you want and you can get him a little bit of something. So she was all excited. She ended up getting him a little Mario teddy as well. A little Mario plush because she said, William really likes Mario. So she got him a little plushie as well. And on the way back in the car, on the way back home, I said, but what about Charlie? I thought it was Charlie. What was your boyfriend? She went, he is, but I just wanted to get William something because I don't want him to be left out. And he's my BFF. And I said, yeah, but do you not think Charlie will be sad that you've not got him anything? And she just went, really deadpan. She just went, maybe next year. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Right, so she ended up getting William a present. She took it in. She said he really liked it. And then she'd got a little note off a different boy. So she's got a boyfriend called Charlie. She'd bought William a Valentine's Day present. And she got this Valentine's note off a totally different boy called Joseph. And it was so cute. And it just said, Happy Valentine's Day, Violet. I've had a crush on you since primary school. It was so cute. She said to me, it was really embarrassing. Bless her. But she's not short of offers, that girl. I'm telling you. She's only 12. But she's not short of offers. They all seem to like her. I think it's because she's so friendly. She's just a really nice, friendly girl. She'll befriend everyone. You know, she's one of them. She won't leave anyone out or anything like that. She's just lovely. And then my other little girl, my youngest girl, my little 6-year-old, she came home from school super excited because she said her boyfriend Charles had given her a pack of chocolate buttons and an Oreo. But she said, my teacher told me I had to eat the Oreo straight away because it wasn't in a wrapper. So it just took an Oreo in out of his packet of Oreos. It was so cute. I can't even how cute they are at that age. I just can't even. It's just proper sweet. Proper sweet, isn't it? Oh, to be that young again and innocent. Right, so let's zoom you out. That's looking really nice and vibrant. You can see all the wax. Pencil wax spot. There we go. So that's that. Now I'm going to go in with the little mouse. So I think I'm going to use these two on the mouse. So I'm going to start off with the darkest one in the edges. So I'm using the Phthalo Blue. So I will zoom you back in. It's just to smooth it out, really, because we had a bit of pilling in the middle of here and you can see it's a bit patchy. So if we go over with pencils, we can really sort of try and smooth it up a bit. So Phthalo Blue. And we'll start around the edges and that should just bring things together a bit more. But yeah, and some people might say, oh well, if you're going to go over it with pencils anyway, what's the point in doing the Inktense? But it just makes it so much easier and nicer. It's just, I mean, the pencil shading doesn't take as long when you've got a base down. And then you've still got the vibrancy of the Inktense pencils coming through. So I just love it. I just love doing it like this. And this book, this mouse guard book, takes the Derwent Inktense beautifully. Like, there's no issues with the paper. There's no issues with anything coming over onto this side. It doesn't come through or bleed through or anything like that. Just beautiful. Right, let's do this here and then we'll get joined up in the middle with the lighter shade of blue that I've got. So I don't want to put the darkness everywhere. I do want there to be some sort of highlighting on this little mousey, even if it's just a little bit. But we do need to smooth his face, his little face, because it is a bit patchy. I just hope that it goes over it okay. I might have to get my Cavendish full blender out if it's not blending as good as I want it to. We'll get on this side and then we'll soften it at the edges and in the centre. Yeah, it might just still get a little bit patchy. We'll see, we'll see. Let's get the bottom of the mouth a bit with the darkness. So I want the light little bit to be sort of around here, the top of his head. So I want to leave some of that there. So your medium to hard pressure down here. And then easing off towards the centre. A bit of darkness right on top. Don't want my hand to be on the way, but a bit of darkness right on top of his head. And then soften it as you move in. So now we've sort of mapped out all our darker areas. And we've left where we want it a bit lighter. So now I can go in with that lighter pencil. So the lighter pencil is, if it'll focus, middle phthalo blue. So we'll start off around here. I am going to leave that, I'm not going in with that. I'm going to use my blender to blend that in. Similarly, in the very centre of there as well. So I'm just using this pencil to sort of merge the darker colour in even more, a bit better, and make sure that we're getting into all that white space. It just smooths it more. If you can see there, it just smooths it out even more. I'm going to go over this ear. Right, being very careful now, just very carefully buffing around the edges. We don't want to go into that highlight altogether with this pencil because you will lose your highlight. So just very gently buffing around and trying to smooth out the edges a bit more. I'm trying not to block what you can see with my hands. Hopefully I'm not doing. There we go. So you can see we've still left a highlight, but we have come very close into the centre. We have been gradually making this highlight smaller and smaller. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to use a white, just so to make sure we don't lose the highlight. So I'm going to burnish it with a white and then go back over possibly with a bit of the blue. So the white 101. Let's go into this middle. Sometimes it can be a bit harsh when you go in with the white. That's why I said we might go over around the edges with the blue again. But it's just making sure that that highlight is burnished white. Because if you went in with the blue we've just used, you'd just lose the highlight. The highlight would just be gone. It'd be all blue. So sort of do that on the little bit of ear as well that we've left a little highlight on up there. And this little bit here. And then I'm going to use the lightest blue that we've just been using, middle phthalo blue, and I'm going to just very lightly, light pressure, buff around the edges where you've just put the white, and this will just blend it all in a bit better. So we've not lost our highlight. It's there. And it's a lot more smooth. It's a lot smoother. So there we go, quite like that. Quite like how that looks. So now we've done all his face, I'm going to go back in with the Phthalo Blue 110 to do his arms and his body. So this one's the darker areas, so anywhere where you think there might be a shadow, so right under here, maybe a little bit under his hand here because that's right in a shadow. The edges of his little fingers, but leaving the centre with the highlight. Because I think when you sort of, if you stick your hand out like that and hold it like that, the light will be bouncing off, you know, the bits that are standing out, so sort of the knuckles. So I'm going to leave the light shining on those. Under here I'm going to do a bit darker, but again leaving some of the highlight on the end of the fingers a little bit. It's just smoothing it all out, it's making it a lot nicer. So we'll leave that little highlight there. In here would be darker, I think, so I'm going to go in with a full block of that colour there. This one might have a bit of a light shining on it in the middle, so going in darkness, with darkness at the edges, leaving a bit of a highlight towards the centre. Again under here, that was me rustling around under my desk. Under here I feel like that would be in a bit of darkness. Under your little belt, I feel would be a little shadow under here. And under the bag. Under things, under objects, you normally have a little bit of a shadow, so even if it's just a little tiniest bit of depth that you're putting in, there would be something there. Let's smooth this bit out because this is a bit patchy under here. That would also be quite dark under there. And here would be quite dark, I think. On the bottom of the foot would be dark, but then I'm going to leave a highlight on the top because again I think that would be part of the foot that's sticking up and getting some light hitting it. Let's just do that. And right on the bottom of his body, just a little bit of darkness there. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the head. So I'm going to first go in with my lighter blue, which is the middle Phthalo Blue 152. I'm just going to buff around any area that we've just put the darkness. I'm going to very carefully buff around it. Not going too much into the highlight, but a little tiny bit. There's tiniest little smidgens into the highlighted areas. Just creates a smoother blend. So I'm going to go in with the white again now on the highlights. So white 101. So anywhere where we've left a bit of a highlight, we're going to go in with the white. And then we can go back in with that lightest shade of blue, just to blend it all out. Again, I've missed these little fingers up here, haven't I? That's fine. Got the top of his foot here. His little body down here where we've got quite a large highlight. Apart from the bit we've got the shadow on under there. Let's try and smooth that bit out a bit more. There we go. So now picking up the blue, just to smooth the edges of the white out with. Middle phthalo blue. Just want a very light pressure, just go into the edges of where you've just put the white. And it will just get rid of the harshness, that's all. Bit on the fingers. Sometimes when I'm doing these mice a different colour, I do like to do the edges of the fingers like pink or in the tail, but I completely just went all blue on this one. We went all blue on this one. Right, let's get some of this colour in on the knuckles up here. Just to blend them a bit better. They're a bit stark, a bit harsh. There we go, so that's little mouse here, looks a lot smoother, doesn't it? So let's zoom out again. Let's zoom out, that's looking really nice. So all we want to put the shading into now is the little flower heads. So to smooth those out. So I'm going to use the Helio Blue Reddish 151 for this. And I'm just going to try and smooth those little bulbs out. Where should I put my big? I'm going to bring you in a little bit so we can see. Let's start on these ones down here. So starting at the top, it's a slightly different colour to what I've used actually, but no worries. It's brightening it up a little bit actually, which is not a bad thing. So possibly using medium pressure when you first start at the top and then bringing it down into a lighter pressure. It was slightly the wrong blue in coloured pencils that I've used compared to what the Inktense pencil is like, but it's actually doing it a favour. I think it's lifting it a bit. Like I say, you could go in with pencil detailing and pencil shading over the whole illustration if you wanted to. But I've just sort of picked the areas where I think it needed smoothing out. So I'm not going to do any shading on the stalks. I'm not going to do any shading on the snail, like I've said. But the other elements on the page I have. Hope my big hand isn't in the way, guys. But you can see it doesn't take very long. It just doesn't take very long. It's Pancake Day on the 21st. Pancake Day! I always get the pre-made mix, so it comes in like a bottle. The mix is already in a bottle and you just add water to it, shake it up and pour it into your pan. And normally the first bottle goes wrong. The first bottle of pancakes always goes wrong. They always end up in the bin, those ones. And then the ones after are fine. So I bought an extra bottle. I bought an extra bottle this time. I've like, one bottle for my practice ones and then the other bottles for the ones that we're going to actually eat. Some of the kids like them and some don't. So yeah, I'll have to do some proper tea, some proper dinner, and then they can sort of have them for dessert. If they want them, if they want something else, they can have something else. But they like putting strawberries in the Nutella, the chocolate spread, on top of them. My kids. Whereas I prefer just to have sugar and lemon. Just sugar and lemon on mine, I love. I'm simple. Very simple. I think sometimes when you put too much stuff on, too much sweet things, I think it's a bit sickly. You know, like when you put the chocolate spread on, it's a bit like, ooh, it's a bit much. Kids love it, but I think it's a bit sickly. So I like me sugar and lemon. Some people like to put the, is it maple syrup? Maple syrup or golden syrup on them. Again, I think that can sometimes get a bit sickly. So I'm a bit of a funny one, aren't I? I'm the same with a few things though, I think. My partner, he loves cheesecake. Absolutely loves cheesecake, and for me, that's sickly. That's really sickly. I think I just like lemon-based dishes, because I was just going to say I really like lemon meringue pie. I like sugar and lemon on my pancakes. I like lemon meringue pie. Just give me lemons. Is that my tap? I mentioned in my other video, my tap's making really strange noises every so often. I was just going to say, oh, I think there's an emergency vehicle coming past the house. It's not, it's my tap making the most horrific noise. So if you can hear any sort of screeching in the background, that's what it is, my dodgy tap. So, you know. Can you see how it's been smoothed out though, this? If you look at these flowers here compared to these ones, it really does just smooth everything out nicely. So minimal effort. My hand gets in the way for these two, I do apologise. I'm sort of trying to lean the book in the best possible way that I can to get in there, but also not to block your view. But I don't think I can get away with it on these ones up here. This one would be dark as well. I've missed a bit up here, haven't I, with the Inktense, because that would have been a bit darker at the top. I will just put it in with a pencil myself. Not to worry. Oh, they're selling in the local supermarket as well that we have here. They just started selling the daffodil bulbs to plant in the garden. I kept looking at them today. I was like, should I get some? It's not quite warmed up enough for me to want to go in the garden trying to fix it up yet though. I'll wait for it to get a little bit warmer and then I'll go and dig out all my borders again and rake them over, ready to plant new flowers and new bulbs and stuff. Because I think the kids really enjoyed it as well, because last year we put loads of new flowers in the borders and the kids really enjoyed watering them every day. You know, in the summer they would all have a go at the little watering cans, watering them. Right, just this flower down here, and then I'll zoom you out so we can have a little look. And then I'm going to do one more bit of shading, which I'll tell you about in a second. So, let's zoom you out. Got a bit of a glare from my camera, but you should be able, let's whisk glare, point it in this direction. You should be able to see that's a lot smoother and a lot nicer. So the only bit I'm going to, put a bit of shading into now is his cape, because I think his cape could do with a bit of shading. So I'm just going to have a look in my pencil case and see what sort of pencils. I think there's a nice chrome oxide green or something like that, what might be a nice complementary colour to that. What about this? Yeah, that's the chrome oxide green. I think that'll go nice with that. There is a similar colour as well, which is this pine green. I think we'll go for the chrome oxide green. I picked that one out first, so let's just go with that. Let me sharpen it a little bit. So again, I'm just going to pick out some areas where I think it might have a little shadow, mainly in the corners of the cape, right in the corners, in the creases, under here. Again, if you want to leave those highlighted bits out and go in with the white pencil, you can. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that on this one. We'll see what it looks like once I've got all the dark bits in first. I might just leave it and sort of smooth it in with my pencils. There we go. Oh, speaking about my daughter's school doing all kinds of different days, like a day for this, a day for that, a day for dressing up in this, a non-uniform day for that. They've added another one on. Wear something blue and bring some bottle caps into school with you, because they're going to be learning about the importance of keeping the oceans clean. So they want some bottle caps so that they can do a piece of artwork with the bottle caps. Or something like that. Something like that. So yeah, they have to go to school dressed in blue. I'm like, I'm not even sure my kids have got something blue. I'll have to have a look. My little boy will, but I don't know if my girls have got any blue tops. It's normally like pinks, yellows, purples, those types of colours. I can really see the page coming together now, and I can't wait to get my white gel pen out on this. Right, I'm going to leave quite a big highlight here now, so I've gone into all the edges and I'm going to leave this highlighted. So I'm just going to try and blend in the edges as smooth as I can. Very light pressure around the edges now. And just leave that little highlight there. I just need to do this bit, because again, it's a little bit that I almost missed. I'm going to get the white pencil in this bit here just to smooth that highlight out a bit. So I'm going to use the white 101 just to put a little tiny bit of something there. And then I'm going to go back in with the green to just buff around the edges. There we go. So fun bit now. Let's zoom you out while we do the fun bit, because no doubt you want to see the whole page properly. So I'm going to get my white gel pen. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to put some little detailing into these flowers. So I'm going to do like a little dot. No, let's bring you back in because you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to do a little dot, and then I'm going to do my little thing where I put 5 little dots around the bigger dot, or 6 dots. Make like a little flower like that. Just not on everyone, just little, or you can just put, you can literally just put some little dots on some of them like that. It's just to brighten everything up a bit and add a bit of, it just adds a bit of something, doesn't it? So I like doing it anyway. This is just all the little extra bits that I pop in, or that I like to pop into my pages. Let's do another little flower. That's a teeny tiny one. They're cute, aren't they? Very cute. I'm trying to do it the best I can without blocking your view. Yeah, let's move round to this side now. All the little flowers here. I'll turn you around so we can see. There we go. A little bit of something there. I've got an awful glare. Let me see if I can turn that lamp down a bit, because it might just be that it's a bit too bright. Whoops. Maybe. Put a few little dots on these ones. And these ones at the bottom. I'll put another little flower decoration on this one. There we go. And there we are. So, zoom you out a bit. I'm going to do white gel pen detailing under this little snail. In fact, I forgot to get a little green pencil. I said I wanted to do a bit of shading on the bottom of the... What green can I find that's a bit darker than that, but not too dark? What's this one? Do you think that's that looks a little bit darker? So this is Grass Green 166. Right on the bottom. Just a little tiny bit right on the bottom. So hard pressure right on the bottom of the snail. And then carefully with a medium to light pressure, just try and blend that upwards. There we go. And that's a little bit of a little tiny bit of shading I wanted on that. But with this white gel pen, I'm going to go right underneath the snail, so he's sort of got a little bit of a sliver going on. So I will just extend it as well a little bit. Now you might find when you put your white gel pen down that it sort of takes on the colour from underneath. So you can see straight away that there's some pink coming through on my gel pen. You might have to let it dry and keep going over it a few times if you want it really bright white with the gel pen, or perhaps you've got a really good paint pen that doesn't do that, or maybe there is some bleed proof stuff that's supposed to not do that as well. Whether you have something like that in your stash might be better. So there we go. So that's our little snail trail, and you might even want to do a few little wiggly lines underneath, maybe some more dots. Like that. Next up, do I want to put any more anywhere? I think a little line on the actual stick that he's holding. So I think maybe a little bit of gel pen detailing up here. Sort of acting as a bit of a light shining on there, possibly. Maybe the tiniest little dot in his eye. Well, a bit teeny tiny because he's got tiny little eyes. But yeah, you can just add, if you want to add a little line into the highlights that you've got going on in the cape, just to add more of a shine. You can do that. It's just adding in what you think, basically. What you think. Might do a few little dots on the actual leaves here and there. Don't have to be the same size either. You can do a big circle and then tiny dots around it. Just brightens everything up, gives it a bit of a sparkle. So I'm going to zoom back out now. I put the finishing touch on. So the finishing touch is going to be the washi tape. So bear with me while I do this. Let me just cut the edge off a little bit. So this is going to really complement them colours on that snail. Really complement it quite nicely. So we need it to be going, I'm going to start off with this side actually. So we need it to be just after. There's a bit of a fray on here, let me get it off. There. We need it to be just after that flower head. Try and get it as straight as I can. And then I'm going to cut the edge off somewhere around here. Maybe I've not decided where I want it yet, so we don't want to cut it too short. And again at the top, I now need to see, so it needs to be just above that sword on this side. So let's see, that will be about there. And just cut it off in line with this one. Hopefully that'll be all right there. This one will need to be trimmed a little bit. Try and get the same distance. So where do I think? Do I think about there is the same? Possibly. I think so. I pop that down and then I can trim these edges at the top as best I can. That one and this one needs trimming a little bit. I've not done this as good as I normally do it because I'm trying to not get my big hands in the way, should I say. So it might be a bit dodgy at the top. It's fine. It's fine. Then we're going to get this bottom bit sorted with a similar sort of gap. So we want this sort of gap down here. So I'm thinking about there, maybe. So I'm just going to trim these little bits first. Trim that bit because it's going to be hard to get it off otherwise. Sorry if my big hand or head is in the way here. Oh, or if I knock the camera, indeed. Stay still. Stay. Right, let's trim this little bit here. Right, and get this on. It's all sticking to me. Get off my finger. Oh dear. Right. Oh, it's not playing ball with me. Stop. Let's try and get that on the edge of there, then we don't need to fiddle around trimming that anymore. All we need to do is trim this section. It's really complementing that colour of that snail, isn't it? It's brilliant. And there we go. What do you think about that? I love that. I love that washi tape. How cool is that? It's a nice little set. I think it was £5 from the works for these 24 tapes. Really quite pretty, some of them. Really pretty. So that is our page. Of course, if you wanted to add any more bling on there, you could. You could add some metallic paint, possibly into these white areas if you wanted to. But I'm going to leave mine like that. Perhaps I'm going to tidy up. I can see something. I don't know whether you can see it. Can you see this? I think I've done it with my nail varnish. I don't even know if that'll come off, but we can try. Oh, it's coming off. It might have took some of my washi tape off it. We can replace the washi tape. I think there was another line as well down here. Oh, that's the washi tape. It was down the edge. Little things annoy me. No, it was on that page, wasn't it? Get rid of it. The tiniest little things irritate me. And there's some. I don't know what that is on the edge of the page. Whatever it is, it won't come off. But there we go. Never mind. Let's zoom you back out again. Let's zoom you back out and lift this up to the camera properly and have a little look. I love that. I love that. I think it's really cute. Really cute. It's so much fun to just do something different. You know, whether it's a different coloured mouse, different coloured snail, just something that's not as typical, like browns, greys and stuff like that. I've done that twice now in this book. Can't find the other page. Yeah, so I've got some that are very colourful. Again, I used the Inktense on that and made them very vibrant. And then I've got some that are more subtle like that, and they're just equally as beautiful. And we've got a very bright blue mouse. I hope you enjoyed watching this part 1, 2 and 3. I will link parts 1 and 2 in the description of this video in case you missed those. Please do hit the thumbs up on the way out and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.